Hey, law lovers and history buffs. Today we're uncovering the strangest, most bizarre laws ever put into practice. Let's dive into the top 10 weirdest laws from history. Kicking off our list at number 10, we have the bizarre phenomenon of animal trials in medieval Europe. Picture this. It's 1457. You're in a quaint village in France. A farmer's prize pig has eaten all his cabbages, leaving him devastated. Instead of just shooing the pig away or seeking compensation, he drags it to court demanding justice for his lost produce. Believe it or not, animals, from pigs to insects, were put on trial for crimes ranging from theft to murder. These trials were taken very seriously. Animals were given lawyers, provided legal defense, and sometimes even faced execution if found guilty. The legal system was surprisingly thorough. It's a wild reminder of how different the past really was and how justice was interpreted in ways that seem utterly bizarre to us today. At number 9, we have the infamous beard tax. This unusual tax was imposed by Peter the Great in Russia in 1698. Peter decided that Russia needed a serious image update, starting with all those bushy beards that were so popular at the time. To modernize his country and align it more with Western European styles, Peter imposed a tax on men who wanted to keep their beards. And it wasn't just a symbolic tax either, it was a substantial financial burden. We're talking a significant chunk of change, especially for commoners who could barely afford it. If you paid up, you got a token, like a little metal coin, to prove you had the right to your facial hair. This token was a badge of honor for many. Talk about a hairy situation. Imagine having to pay just to keep your beard. It was a clever way to enforce his vision of a modern Russia. Coming in at number 8 is the window tax in England, introduced in 1696. This peculiar tax was a way for the government to raise funds without directly taxing income. Back then, windows were a luxury. They were not just for letting in light, but also a status symbol. Large glass windows were expensive, so having a lot of them showed you were well off. The more windows, the wealthier you appeared. The English government decided to tax homeowners based on the number of windows their houses had. This was seen as a fair way to tax the rich. To avoid paying more, many people decided to brick up their windows. This led to some rather creative architectural modifications. Imagine living in a house where you're constantly stumbling around in the semi-darkness just to avoid a tax. It must have been quite an adjustment for many families. Number 7 on our list is the ban on miniskirts in Uganda during the 1960s and 70s. The Ugandan government decided that miniskirts were immoral and a threat to public decency. They banned them outright and even had fashion police patrolling the streets, armed with rulers making sure hemlines stayed below a certain length. Imagine getting stopped on the street and having your skirt measured. At number 6, we have the prohibition of high heels in ancient Greece. High heels weren't just a fashion statement, they were a symbol of power, status, and even seduction. Some historians believe the ban was about maintaining a clear visual distinction between the genders. High heels were seen as elevating women, both literally and figuratively, and some men apparently weren't too happy about that. Halfway through our list at number 5 is the ice cream cone ban on Sundays in Illinois, USA in the late 1800s. It was illegal to sell these delightful treats on Sundays in Illinois, thanks to blue laws rooted in religious observance. If you craved a cone, you had to wait until Monday. Coming in at number 4 is the ban on eating mince pies at Christmas in England under Oliver Cromwell. Cromwell, the Lord Protector of England, was not a fan of Christmas. He saw the holiday as a frivolous and pagan celebration, a distraction from religious piety, and mince pies, they were seen as a symbol of gluttony and excess, the antithesis of Cromwell's vision of a pious and somber Christmas. Number 3 on our list is the flatulence tax in ancient Rome. Legend has it that Emperor Vespasian imposed a tax on public flatulence to raise funds for the empire. Imagine that for a second. Every time someone let one loose in the forum, they'd have to cough up a few sesterci. At number 2, we have the ban on dyeing in Svalbard, Norway. Svalbard is known for its extremely frigid temperatures. Due to the extreme cold, bodies in Svalbard don't decompose, posing serious health risks. If you're terminally ill and living in Svalbard, you're flown to the mainland to live out your final days. And finally, our number one weirdest law from history is the ban on donkeys sleeping in bathtubs in Arizona, USA. Back in the 1920s, a dam near Prescott, Arizona burst, causing a massive flood. A donkey got swept away and ended up stuck in a bathtub. To prevent any future equine aquatic incidents, the town of Prescott passed a law forbidding donkeys from sleeping in bathtubs. Thanks for joining us on this legal adventure through history. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more fascinating countdowns. Let us know in the comments which weird law you found the most surprising. Until next time, keep exploring the past to understand the present.